February 11th, 1965, The Ed Sullivan Show, New York City, live television, 73 million viewers. The Beatles sat on a couch, nervous, smiling, about to perform their new single. Next to them, a Hollywood actress, Katherine Sterling, 42 years old, Oscar winner, American royalty. Ed Sullivan smiled. "Katherine, you've worked with the greatest, Sinatra, Dean Martin. What do you think of these young men from England?" Katherine looked at the Beatles. 4 kids in suits, mop-top hair, and her face showed everything. Disdain, dismissal, disgust. "Well, Ed," she said, voice dripping with condescension, "I think rock and roll is destroying what real music used to mean." The studio gasped. The Beatles froze. John's smile faltered. "These boys are talented at making noise," Katherine continued, "but let's not confuse popularity with artistry." The camera caught John's face, hurt flashing across it, then anger, then something else, something calculating. What John did next, on live television, and what he said to Katherine backstage, became one of the most talked about moments in Beatles history. If you want to witness the moment the Beatles faced their harshest critic and responded with something nobody expected, tap that subscribe button. Because this story is about dignity, grace, and changing hearts. Katherine Sterling, born 1923, Broadway actress turned Hollywood star, musical, dramas, comedies. She'd done it all, worked with everyone, won an Oscar in 1958. America loved her. Elegant, sophisticated, refined, everything a lady should be. She represented old Hollywood, the golden age, when music meant orchestras and crooners, when men wore tuxedos and women wore gowns, when entertainment was classy, respectable, adult. Katherine hated rock and roll, publicly, vocally, constantly. "It's noise," she told reporters. "Primitive, unsophisticated, appealing to base instincts. Elvis is a joke, Chuck Berry is crude, and these Beatles," she'd pause, search for words harsh enough, "they're a fad, a virus, infecting our youth." Her generation agreed. Parents who didn't understand, who wanted their children back, who blamed the music. Katherine became their spokesperson, their warrior, fighting against the invasion. When Ed Sullivan booked the Beatles and Katherine on the same show, everyone knew this wasn't coincidence. This was conflict, designed, deliberate. Ratings gold, old Hollywood versus new Liverpool, sophistication versus rebellion, parents versus children. Katherine agreed to appear, eager to confront these boys, to say on live television what millions were thinking. The Beatles didn't know. Brian Epstein, their manager, kept them innocent. "Just another interview, lads." But Ed Sullivan knew. The producers knew. America knew. This was going to be a showdown. But the Beatles weren't prepared for what Katherine had planned. Backstage, before the show, the Beatles were excited. 4th appearance on Sullivan, familiar territory. They joked, tuned guitars, ran through harmonies, normal pre-show routine. Then Katherine Sterling walked past their dressing room, looked in, sneered. "Good luck, boys," she said, voice saccharine. "Try not to hurt anyone with all that screaming." John looked up. "Sorry?" "The screaming," Katherine repeated. "I assume that's your strategy, since actual talent isn't." Paul stood, defensive. "We worked very hard to be here." "I'm sure you did," Katherine said. "Worked hard at marketing, at hair, at being a product. But music, real music, I doubt you'd recognize it." She walked away, leaving 4 stunned Beatles, hurt, angry, confused. "What was that about?" Ringo asked. "That," George said quietly, "was a warning." The show began. Ed Sullivan's monologue. Commercial break. Then the segment. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed announced, please welcome Oscar-winning actress Katherine Sterling and those boys from Liverpool, the Beatles. Applause, screaming, divided audience, some cheering Beatles, some cheering Katherine. They sat on the couch. Katherine center, Beatles to her right, physical separation obvious. Ed started gentle. Katherine, you're a legend. What brings you here tonight? To speak for concerned parents, Katherine said. To ask important questions about what we're allowing into our children's lives. Ed nodded, turned to Beatles. Boys, you've heard that some people don't approve of your music. What do you say to critics like Katherine? John opened his mouth, but Katherine interrupted. Let me save them the trouble, Ed, she said. They'll say we're old-fashioned, that we don't understand. But I do understand. I understand that real music requires training, discipline, years of study. She looked directly at the Beatles. Tell me, do any of you read music? Silence. Awkward, devastating silence. Can any of you play classical instruments? Katherine pressed. Have any of you studied composition? Paul tried to speak. We're self-taught. Exactly. Katherine pounced. Self-taught, untrained, making it up as you go. That's not artistry. That's accident. That's luck catching lightning. The camera stayed on John's face, and America watched him break. John Lennon, the sharp one, the witty one, the one who always had a comeback, sat silent, not because he couldn't respond, but because Katherine had hit something real, something vulnerable, self-taught. Yes, they hadn't gone to conservatory, hadn't studied in universities. Just four boys from Liverpool, teaching themselves, making mistakes, learning by doing. Was that less valid? Was that less real? Was that not music? John's eyes filled, not with tears, but with something worse, doubt. Maybe Katherine was right. Maybe they were frauds. Maybe the success was just luck. Maybe they'd fooled everyone, including themselves. Paul saw it, the crisis happening in real time. But John stood up, suddenly interrupting the interview. Excuse me, John said, voice tight. I'll be right back. He walked off set, live television, 73 million people watching, walked away. Ed Sullivan panicked. We'll be right back after these messages. Commercial break, chaos backstage, producers screaming, Brian Epstein running, Beatles frozen, and Katherine Sterling sitting on that couch, smiling, victorious. She'd broken a Beatle on live television. Mission accomplished. John stood in the hallway, back against the wall, breathing hard, fighting something, not tears, not anger, something deeper, existential crisis, identity collapse. Katherine found him there, followed him, wanting to see the damage up close. Feeling okay? She asked, false concern, savoring the moment. John looked at her, really looked, and saw something he hadn't noticed on stage. Fear, underneath the cruelty, underneath the disdain, was fear. Why do you hate us? John asked quietly. What did we do to you? Hate you? Katherine laughed. I don't know you enough to hate you, but you hate what we represent. Why? Katherine's smile faltered. Because you're destroying everything beautiful, everything meaningful. Music used to be elegant, sophisticated. Now it's just noise and screaming teenagers. John shook his head. That's not true, and you know it. You're scared, John said, and his voice was gentle now, understanding. Scared that the world is changing, moving on, leaving you behind. Katherine's face hardened. I'm not scared of you. Not of me, John corrected, of being forgotten, of becoming irrelevant, of not mattering anymore. Katherine stared. This wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to be angry, defensive, broken. Instead, he was seeing her, really seeing her. "I'm 42 years old," Katherine said suddenly, voice cracking, walls crumbling. "I haven't had a good role in 3 years. Studios want younger actresses, fresh faces, new energy, and now music is the same. Out with the old, in with the new, in with you. And I'm just old and angry and scared, and I took it out on you." She started crying, real crying, not actress crying, human crying. "I'm sorry," Katherine whispered. "I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that, any of that." What John did next changed everything. John stepped forward, hugged her. This woman who'd just humiliated him on television, hugged her. Katherine sobbed into his shoulder. "I'm a terrible person." "No," John said. "You're a scared person. There's a difference." "You know what?" John continued. "You're right. We don't read music. We don't have formal training. But that doesn't make what we do less real, just different. New doesn't erase old. It adds to it. Your music still matters. Sinatra still matters. That doesn't go away because we exist." Katherine pulled back, looked at him. "How are you being kind to me after what I did?" "Because I understand," John said. "I'm terrified too. Terrified this will end, that we'll be forgotten, that we're not good enough. Everyone's scared. Everyone's pretending. You're just more honest about it than most." They stood in that hallway, an Oscar-winning actress and a Beatle, both vulnerable, both human. "What do we do now?" Katherine asked. "They're waiting for us." "Live television." John smiled. "We go back, we finish the show, and maybe you say something different." "Like what?" "The truth," John said. "That you were wrong, that fear made you cruel, that you're sorry." Katherine's eyes widened. "On live television? In front of 73 million people?" "Yeah," John nodded. "On live television, because that's where the damage was done. That's where it needs to be healed." Commercial break ended. Ed Sullivan looking nervous. "Welcome back, and, John has returned." John sat back down, calm, centered, different than before. Katherine took a breath, looked at the camera, at America, at her fear, and spoke. "I need to say something," Katherine began, voice shaking. "What I said earlier was wrong." Ed looked confused. "This wasn't scripted." "Katherine, I was cruel to these young men," Katherine continued, "because I'm scared of change, scared of being forgotten. But fear doesn't justify cruelty. And these boys, they're not destroying music. They're adding to it. They're talented, hardworking, genuine, and I owe them an apology." She turned to the Beatles, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry, truly. You didn't deserve my bitterness." Silence. Complete silence. 73 million people holding their breath. Then Paul started clapping, then George, then Ringo, then the studio audience, then America. Standing ovation for Katherine's courage, for John's grace, for human honesty on live television. John stood, walked to Katherine, hugged her again. "Thank you," he whispered. "That took real strength." Katherine smiled through tears. "You gave me that strength by seeing me, really seeing me." But the story didn't end there. After the show, Katherine asked to speak with all 4 Beatles. Private, dressing room. "I meant what I said out there," Katherine told them. "But I want to understand, really understand. Teach me about your music. Help me see what I'm missing." And they did, for 2 hours, backstage at Ed Sullivan. The Beatles taught Katherine Sterling about rock and roll, played her their albums, explained their process, their influences, their love. Katherine listened, really listened, and slowly, her face changed, softened, understood. "It's not what I grew up with," she said, "but it's real, it's honest, it's you. And that's what matters, not the form, but the truth inside it." They stayed in touch. Letters, occasional calls, unlikely friendship, bridging generations. Katherine attended a Beatles concert in 1966, stood in the audience, ears ringing, surrounded by screaming teenagers. And she got it, finally got it. The joy, the release, the pure expression. She wrote John afterward, "I understand now what you do. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. You connect with people, with their hearts, their hopes, their youth. That's artistry, real artistry, and I was blind to it." Katherine Sterling died in 1992, 70 years old. Successful career, dignified end. But she always said, her proudest moment wasn't winning the Oscar. It was apologizing to the Beatles on live television. "That's when I became brave," she told interviewers. "When I admitted I was wrong on national TV. John Lennon taught me that. Courage isn't attacking, it's apologizing. Strength isn't cruelty, it's kindness, especially to people who don't deserve it." When John Lennon died in 1980, Katherine was devastated. She released a statement. "John saved me from becoming bitter, from becoming cruel. He saw me as I was, scared and lashing out, and instead of hating me, he helped me." That's who the Beatles were, not just musicians, but teachers, showing us how to be human. February 11th, 1965. The Ed Sullivan Show changed two people. Katherine Sterling learned humility, learned grace, learned that change isn't death. John Lennon learned his own strength, that kindness is power, that seeing people heals them. The moment is preserved. Recordings exist. You can watch it on YouTube. Katherine's initial cruelty, John walking off, the apology, the applause. It's all there. Evidence of transformation, of humans becoming better. Today, when we face criticism, when people attack what we love, when cruelty strikes, we have a choice. Attack back, defend, escalate, or do what John did. See the person, understand their fear, respond with kindness. That's the harder path, the braver path, the path that changes hearts. Katherine Sterling wasn't a villain. She was a person, scared, hurting, lashing out. And John Lennon wasn't a saint. He was a person who chose grace over anger. Both human, both imperfect, both capable of growth. That's the real story. Not Beatles versus critic, but humans helping humans. The next time someone attacks you, mocks you, tries to diminish you, remember John in that hallway, asking, "Why do you hate us?" Remember Katherine crying, "I'm scared. I'm so scared." Remember that cruelty is usually pain, disguised as strength. And the strongest response, the most powerful response, is seeing that pain, acknowledging it, and choosing kindness anyway. That's what John did. That's what changed everything. That's what we can all do if we're brave enough. Thank you, Katherine, for your courage, for your honesty, for showing us. Pride can become humility. Thank you, John, for your grace, for your vision, for teaching us. Kindness is strength. And thank you to all of us, watching, learning, trying, to be a little more like John that day, seeing people, really seeing them, and choosing love over fear, over anger, over everything. That's the lesson. That's the gift. That's what February 11th, 1965 gave us. Forever.